Welcome everyone, this is Pilot Needles and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at lasers and LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Krister!
Hello!
And Cinders! Cinders?
Hello! Sorry, hit the wrong button.
Well, welcome this weekend. This week, of course, is the week of the Let's Fix What Went Wrong during the main update patch week. I mean, that's an old tradition in the game, where right after a major release, there's a few tweaks afterwards in order to get a few things tweaked, shall we say. So let's then head up to update 38.0.1. And this was released on Wednesday on November 15th. And first off, of special note, new rewards and Adventurers and Travelers Steelbound loot boxes. We'll go over that a little bit more later. And this is also the start of the 8th season of the Legendary Item Reward track. I hope that you remember to take on your claim what you had from the previous season before that update was made. And it looks like that this time around we have some things like a sculpture garden with an elvish pavilion, a tome of the young moose, a tome of the frost tusk youngling, and a red painted skeleton mount. So now let's go into the actual notes in here. The red line version of Catch a Breath now properly advances relevant deeds. And that's the only class change this week. As for crafting, ingredient requirements for many Umbar crafting recipes have been adjusted. In most cases, this reduces the amount of ingredients required for crafting, and this change also removed the requirement for red sea stones to craft uncommon gear, and standardized the number of red sea stones required for rare gear across professions. The crafting category for instruments is now instruments instead of minstrel instruments, since there are now mariner instruments. Craftsfolk Brenda Rumble, Miragon Blacksteel, Trolley Hammerfist, and Giles Chadwick have remembered their names.
Grants.
So good for them.
Yeah, good for them, yes. And crafted Umbari crossbows are now using their proper DPS tables.
Oh, what were they using before? Please tell me it was Ballista. Please tell me it was Ballista.
Well, then in which case you wouldn't want to have been changed.
Well, and that would finally justify the gigantic arrows that you see when you're fighting a big mob.
Well, yes, that would justify it. As for items, Adventurers loot boxes opened at level 141 and higher now correctly give their proper level 141 Seafaring Adventurers Humble Essence box instead of level 140 Delving Adventurers Lively Essence boxes. The following cosmetic pet tomes can now properly be acquired via barter, even after you have learned the cosmetic pet skill they grant. Tome of the Light Gray Goat, Tome of the Coffee Goat, Tome of the Burgundy Goat, and Tome of the Dark Gray Squirrel. I will presume then that the pet tomes are tradable, I would hope, or at least only account bound instead of character bound.
I don't know. I'm just excited. I didn't know there were goat tomes. I clearly need them.
Almost sounds like an adventure series too.
Why you need goat tomes?
Yes.
That's not the question.
It
Who doesn't need goat tomes?
To go with my cows and I think I have a sheep and the pigs and the boars.
Oh my.
You have a regular menagerie.
Yes, if only I could have them all out at once.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Umbari Scholar battle scrolls are now available from the Umbar Reputation Faction Quartermaster. Older items now disenchant for their proper rewards. Overseer, the Hidden Horde raid reward vendor, now accepts motes of enchantment rather than embers of enchantment to exchange a piece of Hidden Horde gear for a piece of a different set. And skirmish soldiers have had some of their broken scaling progression fixed that caused them to have abnormally low stats in the mid-levels. Now, you'll note here, mid-levels and some of their broken scaling progressions fixed, which implies that they did nothing to fix any scaling problems they have at the higher levels.
They didn't want to admit they have a problem at higher
levels. I think we are all sure that there is a problem at the higher levels with skirmish soldiers. As for PvMP, Malavin, the Angrim emissary in the Entmoors, has leveled up to match the baddies around her.
Aww.
And the new Entmoors food and buff scrolls effects are now properly removed when leaving the Entmoors. Note, they should not be removed if you simply relog or lose connection within the bounds of the Entmoors. Now, as for questing in adventure areas, fix an issue with Umbar task quests so that they are available again. Yes, and I have been this week doing some Umbar tasks here and there. Now, you have to actually go to a place that is part of the Umbari region, meaning the Shield Isles or the Umbar Peninsula or the city. You'd have to go to one of those 3 areas in order to get these. In order to get those bulletin board things. I don't think I've seen a task board anywhere in Gondor during this update. And I think Cinders was looking for one also, right?
I was.
Yeah.
Well, Gondor's really changed. What are they doing?
Wait, what happened?
Well, you said that things are changing. They get a new king, and then suddenly everything's different.
Everything's suddenly different. New task boards and yes. And the interlude quest in Chapter 7, The Songs of Waves and Wind, is once again available. And the quest guide now properly shows you how much the Hall of Lady Vanios in Chapter 2.1, The Song of Waves and Wind. Oh, how to reach it, yes. Because before, everyone's asking, well, where is it? Where do we need to go? Where do we need to go? Where do we need to go? Okay. Fix an issue with Bounty Protohorn quest, so it once again is available. Mariners can now properly open rewards from the Minas Tirith Epic Battle. Some missing voiceover audio has been added. Characters across King's Gondor West, Outer Gondor, Shield Isles, and Umbar who were using random appearances have been fixed. And the shore-striding ram of Penithkilan will now be level 144 and drop appropriate materials. Some other mobs in King's Gondor West have been adjusted to level 141 or 142, up from 140. And they also updated a couple of translations here and there. And that's it for the updates. Anything in here that you have comments on?
I'm kind of interested to see to check out the barter now that they said you can do the gear exchange stuff. So I'm going to see what that's all about.
All right. And new rewards in Adventurers and Travelers Steelbound loot boxes. So they talk about that, and they have a full article on this, first showing the ones that you can get at the Cosmetic some of the ones that you could barter for, and also the ones that are exclusive to the box. Okay, they added quite a number of things that are available at Rowan Raspberry, and that is the Harmonious Miniature Tree, and the Harmonious Planter in spring, the Harmonious Miniature Tree in winter, just in case you wanted a little icy touch to it, Harmonious Falcon Perch, the Tome of the Harmonious Falcon.
I want that. Did you see the picture at the very top with the falcon itself? It's so pretty.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Actually, now to think of it, is I actually got the falcon on one of my characters because I was hitting cap on my figments, so I went to Rowan Raspberry and got the falcon.
Hashtag worth it.
The Harmonious Steed, the Harmonious War Steed, the Hooded Harmonious Cloak, Harmonious Boots, Gloves, Hood, Mantle, and Robe. So, harmonious stuff.
What would make a piece of clothing harmonious?
Maybe
the colors all work together.
I was thinking maybe it
Okay.
makes music when you move as it rustles against itself.
Well, wouldn't that depend on the music?
It would. Not all music is harmonious. At least pleasantly harmonious. Suppose it doesn't clarify that it's pleasantly harmonious. It just says it's harmonious. Which technically is just like 2 notes or 2 pitches at the same time. So,
It would sound like a wind chime.
yeah. That would be really fun if it actually did that, up until you were trying to be stealthy.
Well, maybe you just play that like stealthy music.
Oh.
Dun, dun. Or the Jaws theme. Dun dun.
As you're sneaking up on somebody, Jaws is playing in the background. Don't mind me. Nothing bad's gonna happen to you.
And exclusive to loot boxes, we have a macaque rock, a tall macaque palm, a macaque palm, and the tome of the seaside Sandlurker. You don't get a tome of a macaque?
I was hoping you would be saying macaque a couple more times because
Oh, I wish you could
liking
get a
that
tome
word.
of a macaque, and then if one of the things that it did, like, you know how they all have a resting pose where sometimes they just stop moving, or they sit, or they, like, lick their paw? If it would, like, sit on your head. Like,
you mean like the oh jeez. I'm having a blonde moment. I'm sorry.
Hey, don't insult blondes.
I'm having an elven moment. Sorry.
That works.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of birds on my head necessarily. Maybe on my shoulder.
No,
Maybe
but,
the parrot pirate type of thing.
but,
You know?
but the macaque is a monkey. And how funny would it be to have a little hobbit standing there, and then all of a sudden their monkey, like, runs up their arm and sits on their head?
Yeah, yeah.
A troll has a big hat on, and then he lifts the hat, and there's a hobbit underneath, and then the hobbit's got a hat on, and the hobbit lifts the hat, and there's the macaque.
Yeah.
Bada boom, bada bing.
Yeah. We already know that
So
LOTRO does not have the tech for a pet on your body. The only way they're going to get a macaque on your head is if you had a helmet of the macaque.
I would get one of those. I would spend figments for that. You could probably even get me to spend real money on LOTRO points for that. Or Mithril.
Well, that's going to be tricky because when they did that with the shoulder parrot, they had to make it a armor piece rather than a cosmetic armor piece, which means you'd be giving up stats. So would you really want to give up your stats on your helmet or something like that?
Yeah, if I was going, like... I mean, obviously I wouldn't use it when I was fighting necessarily, but you can also equip your armor things cosmetically, like...
Yes, but the point is that this is a cosmetic item that you cannot equip cosmetically.
Oh.
Because that you have to equip
So
as
you'd have
equipment.
to wear your equipment hat. I don't know. Maybe if they gave it stats like you get for your earrings.
Yeah, I think they don't want to do that because.
Oh my goodness! Think about it, you guys. Legendary parents.
Yeah.
Legendary macaques.
Legendary macaques.
Yeah. I think because they're afraid they will get complaints if they made it so that it had stats that would end at a certain level. They're afraid that they'll get complaints and stuff like that on it. So who knows? Anyway, those are the items. Thus, the new items that are exclusive to loot boxes tend to be okay. We had that Tome of the Seaside Sandlurker, but other than that, it's all about macaques.
Macackling.
Cackling, yes. Additionally, some older Avatar cosmetics and steeds have been moved off of Rowan Raspberry and moved over to the Curator. These include the Bright Company War Steed, the Steed of the Bright Company, the War Steed of the Wild Hills, the Steed of the Wild Hills, the Pig Pen, the Beech Tree, the Barrel of Wild Clover, the Badger House, the Carved Bear Bust, the Cloak of the Bright Company, lots of things of the Bright Company, the Dress of the Twilight Caretaker, the Cloak of the Sunset Hills, more Sunset Hills stuff, Dress of the Twilight, we were talking about that, let's see, and Wild Hill stuff. So in other words, a couple of Wild Hills set, the Sunset Hills sets, and Caretaker stuff have been.
You had me at Warsteed.
Okay, the Seaside Sandlurker pet is half the size of the other lurker pets, it looks like. It's a tiny baby lurker.
Would you say it's a small sea sand? Wait.
A small seaside sandlurker.
Thank you.
Oh, you can have a small seaside sandlurker sidekick.
Right.
That sounds very satisfying.
I'm sure it would be. All right. And they also announced what they're expecting to do for the update 38.1 release, which is expected in early December. And what they're planning to have are, first of all, 28 new quests at the Hunter's Expedition Camp in Umbar. Apparently, Hunter's Expedition Camp might be a new place also that's being added there, because it's either that or it's a place that's very hard to get to currently. Allegiances will move from a max tier of 10 to a max tier of 20 with this release, allowing for further purchases along the Allegiance barter rewards. Good. I finally figured out where to get the first quest of one of the Allegiances. There are 2 Allegiance factions in the Corsairs of Umbar. That's something that I don't think I remember hearing about in the release notes. And one of them are the people. One of them is a group of people that I think are related to the Keepers of the Coin. So we have one that's related to them, and then we have another one that seems to be related to Prince Imrahil. So we have two factions that are available. Crafting guilds will become available with the next update, and the new upgradable items will see their introduction. And missions will be arriving to Umbar Baharbel. I think the missions are going to be tied to the allegiances because. Yes, that's right, because make your way to the Bloody Eagle Tavern in the city of Umbar to complete missions for Umbari mission givers, Malthak and Deshra, taking place in the city of Umbar, the Cape of Umbar, and the Shield Isles. These missions award allegiance tokens for both the Order of the Eagle and the Ledger Keepers. That's the name of the other group, the Ledger Keepers. I think of the Ledger Keepers as sort of the big brother of Umbar or something like that. they make lists and check them twice. Yeah. These mission reward as well as modded gifts of Uri to level up your preferred allegiance. And they are going to make another attempt. We'll see how it works this time. Of the Comb Forester event.
Do I want to know what happened last time? Because I think I missed that.
Let's see, what happened last time? I forgot exactly because I know that we had one time where we had the Bjornings doing set. Then we had the one where people were logging out if they were behind, and then they would log back in a position where they would be ahead in the race or something like that, thus guaranteeing themselves a win or something. In other words, the most obvious exploit I've ever seen in an MMO RPG, and that's saying a lot. But for the most recent one, I forgot what it was. I think something was crashing or something.
Oh. Well, hopefully it'll go well.
We can only hope, because I think they made 3 attempts so far. And some people have been asking, well, what about the other crafting events? I'm thinking, well, let them get one working right first.
That's right.
Yes.
Sometimes you just gotta start over, though. You know?
Yeah.
Just scrap the old and on with the new.
Well, at one point, they were thinking of something a little bit different from what they had, and they did have to scrap some of their original plans because they were hoping to have this so that the start of the event could be player initiated rather than it being automatically every so number of minutes, because they figured if it was player driven, that means you would never have a situation where the event was running with absolutely no players there. But it turned out that their attempt to do so was the reason for the first and maybe the second disaster in there, so they had to restart from scratch. Yep. And that's it for what the plans are in there. We'll hear more about that probably, well, not next week, because next week is American Thanksgiving, so much of the staff isn't going to be there, but probably the following week after that, maybe there will be perhaps there'll be a bull roarer. The following, and the week after that is probably when they'll have the release, assuming everything looks like it's working well. And that's it for our news, so let's go into store sales. Well, what do we have selling this week, Cinders?
Make your piece of Middle-earth shine. Get 25% off the following: select housing decorations, select housing sets, housing property writs, select cloaks, now through November 23rd. Also through November 23rd, the weekly coupon is for free tomes of tracking. Coupon code tracking in all caps, TRACKING. I don't know if they're bind on to account or to character, but hunters do not need them.
They're usually bound to account.
That's good. I just know after listening to Sans and you and a few other hunters gripe about always getting tomes of tracking and other hunters.
Yeah, Hobbit presents are bound to account, fortunately. Now, of course, if it's one that's gotten from I can't remember if one is gone through those gifts that they give you when you're at low level that appear in your mail every 10 levels. I can't remember whether those include a tome of tracking at some point, but that one would have been bound to character because that was a personal gift to your character or something like that.
I don't know. I don't play hunters.
Yeah, you don't play hunters. Well,
I play with hunters who track for me, and I never need to know.
Then let's go ahead into our week in gaming. Krister, what were you up to?
Well, it was a mix of elation, shame, humility. It was all the things to want in a week. But the last 3 months have been some of the most challenging I've had in a long time. And I think everything has calmed down now. So with great humiliation, this will be rectified by the end of the weekend, I swear, pinky swear, that I have not got the expansion yet. And
What?
I also hadn't leveled up yet for Friday night. So my kinmates were very kind, and we went on the first book quest. They showed me around the new area, and I got to level, or I got just shy of 141. And so this weekend, I'm going to get the expansion, get that all squared away. Yeah, it's just been weird. This has never happened to me before, ever since I started playing LOTRO. Always bought it well before. But looking forward to it. The new area was awesome, or the new quest was awesome, and it was really, really, really cool. We all kind of went down memory lane as we were doing the journey there on as a group. We're riding on our war steeds across the plains. It was like, oh my goodness, you remember when we were actually doing this in this zone for for quite some time, and it was really cool to see that again. And then, to my absolute delight, since we were riding on our horses around doing all this questing stuff, I was able to trample for the first time in a long time. And trampling, I did what I call the trample sampler, where I just trampled everything that I could. If there was a helpless bunny, trample. If there was a bird in a tree, trample. If there was a bear, trample. If there was a kid, trample.
When you say kid...
Both kinds.
Oh, both kinds. Okay.
Goat and human. I don't know. Maybe we should take your worsted, man.
Well, what's so funny about it is I think everybody else in the kin absolutely hates riding on their war steeds, especially in the cities where it's, if you don't take that corner sharp enough, you're going right into the wall or doing something else goofy. But I love it. I love the war steed. It's one of my favorite things to do.
And I'm one of those people that, especially when I'm playing a warden, let's just say I don't even bother mounting up in situations where a lot of other people would. I just let my hobbit feet take me.
Now that's pretty funny thinking about that all by itself as a hobbit moving at 45 to 50 miles an hour.
That's one of the most amusing parts, though, of the hobby horse. Is that
that's pretty, yeah, I agree.
Right? Because you're powering it with your legs, but it goes at the speed of an actual steed. Not quite like war steed fast, but regular steed fast.
Yes, and if you have journeyman...
then you're really fast.
Yeah, so of course the thing that kills me, and I don't know if you guys have thought about this too, is so of course now we got the level unlocked to 150. And so for the first time in years, or however long it's been, I see blue on Krister's bar again. And I'm like, you know what? I've been playing and inactive for how long, just resting on this bar, and you're only going to give me like 3/4 of a level? I'm sorry. I've rested enough on this experience bar that I should be blue through at least 148. Okay? That's it's but it's the primary motivation last night was achieved when when both hunters in our group go, oh my goodness, we both have more morale than Krister.
That's kind of impressive.
To say I was humiliated beyond repair, so of course that was like, oh, I cannot let this stand. So I have my motivation for leveling now. Usually it's a cosmetic item, but now it's just I need to get my morale back.
Good luck.
In more ways than one.
Watch for those stinking essences. That change really messed with me. I was like, ooh, essence of vitality. Can't slot it. Essence of vitality. Can't slot it. Dang it.
Well, yeah, and so now I'm thinking, because I've got a bunch of adventures loot boxes as well is I should just hang on to everything until I'm 150. There's no point in opening anything, I'm assuming, because I had high grade raid armor, so I'm assuming I could probably just level all the way back up to max level with what I've got right now. But what was your guys?
Well, you get some from questing.
I was gonna say,
Okay.
You'll pick up some from questing, but Pine Leaf and Ice of Cinders was under 140 when I started back up with M. So I guess it wasn't Cinders, it was M. Cinders is like 120 something. But when M started up, Pine Leaf had me wait to work on my LIs until after I'd crested over to 141. Because you get the little shattered tokens to be able to get the really nice ones for the 141 tier, which was helpful. But I don't know how bad your LIs are.
Well, now that you said that, of course, what I thought I was being very diligent, so I did at least get my LI squared away, but I did that at 140. So I don't know. Well,
yeah.
If I'm gonna
do that, yes.
I'm usually my own karma. I usually the actions I take usually doom me later on. So I don't doubt that
immediately.
There's that too. But basically, so Friday last night was a whole mix of emotions. The glory and wonder of trampling again, the humiliation of having the lowest morale in the group, I think, as the tank. That was so embarrassing. But other than that, I was trying out the Endless Archive in ESO, which I hadn't tried before. And I'm curious. So Pine, I got to 133 is what I got to.
133. Okay.
Yeah, and so I fought a four-armed guy who just cheated. As far as I'm concerned, just cheater.
Well, yeah, I once got to. Let's see. So because I once got to 143, and that's when I finally got the cheater in that run.
Okay. So the middle one is like the 5. It's going to go up to like 5.
It'll go up to 5. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So just trying the Endless Archive out in ESO, that was a lot of fun. And then with, of course, the glory of trampling, I had to log back onto GTA 5, which I was thankful for playing for years and years, because that taught me how to drive a war steed in Lord of the Rings. So I hopped in my car and sped around the city again. It was really nice. Cinders, what did you get up to?
So I did some more of the new content with Pine Leaf around my schedule. With work and stuff, and got to enjoy a search for a proverbial needle in a haystack. So if you have not done that quest, you definitely should make a stop off in, is it Tadrent? Somewhere like that?
Yeah.
It's very humorous. And then I was homesick yesterday, so after logging into Final Fantasy XIV and being overwhelmed, I logged out and decided to play some settlement survival, and discovered that I had too much work to do in the game and not enough workers to do it, which resulted in many of them having no clothing and or no tools. Which, I mean, as far as the game goes, like the graphics, totally fine. Like, they still look clothed because it doesn't change the graphic. But they walk around saying, I have no clothing, which is just interesting.
Okay. Maybe it was a fashion statement. You know how, the stereotype. I have nothing to wear.
Yes.
I thought some of my past jobs were hard.
Anyhow, so I didn't have enough workers to have a tailor to repair all of their clothing. So they had to wait till I got more immigrants to be able to do that. And then today, I actually played some Valheim with my son for a few hours. He figured out how to turn on the modifiers that are built into the game. And I must say, I really do not mind playing with passive mobs. That has been a lot of fun. I'll be like, oh, hey, Greywing! Bye, Greywing! And they don't do anything because they're passive. But as my son pointed out, they're really neutral. If you smack them, they'll hit back. They're not truly passive. How about you, Pine? What have you been up to?
All right, I will start with my Mariner. My Mariner reached 150 and completed the current stage of the main storyline, which was Chapter 7, which is what they have so far. And it looks like there is, of course, the story is going to continue, of course, past that point. But I've managed to finish the first 7 chapters, which is the part that is included in the main part of the expansion. Then on my warden, I visited some dwarves, then headed west into King's Gondor. And finally, in Dinkum, I built an airport, and I headed out to a vacation island. A very expensive vacation, I may add. And that is it for my week in gaming.
To be fair, Pine Leaf, though, is there anything in Dinkum that's not really expensive as you get into late game?
You've got a point there. Yes, of course, everything down there is expensive. It's expensive to first build the airport and then having to get a boarding pass and the tickets for the boarding pass in order to go on to these vacations is also, of course, very, very expensive. But as you noted, everything's more expensive.
Yeah, it's like going mining.
Yeah, it is similar.
25,000 dinks.
Oh, yeah. Well, in this one, in this one, though, is that since you can get some rewards that are similar to what's in the mines, but you don't have to worry about all those mobs that you have to worry about in the mines, they decided, well, it should cost 10 times as much then.
Ugh.
So it's either, all right, so you either pay 25,000 in order to go into a dark place where you're constantly worried about being attacked, or you spend 250,000 and not have to worry about that stuff.
Does it have stuff that doesn't appear in the mines?
That doesn't appear. Oh, okay. Yes, all sorts of things like beach chairs, beach blankets, and
The important stuff.
throwing discs.
Okay.
Oh, important stuff. Oh, okay.
Well, those are the important stuff, is what I'm saying.
Oh, those are the important stuff.
Yeah, the decor.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. Those right. Decor stuff, but also includes many of the stuff because it does also include paint, which so that you don't have to go into your mine in order to find some more pink paint.
Sweet.
Okay, and
I just need to build an airport and then get 250,000 dinks.
Yeah.
No problem. It's all good.
I mean, is the airport an income generating structure for you? I mean,
of course not.
No, nothing generates revenue for us.
I think it's funny that you built the airport and you probably walk in there and they're like, "Who are you?"
Yeah, that's pretty.
That's my face on the building.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to Dinkum. If you'd like to email us, you could send it to podcast@lotraplayers.com. The Players Alliance has 2 shows on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have Lotra Players News and re-record DDO Players News when Drac is available. You guys join us for our shows at lotraplayers.com/live. And that's all for tonight. And this is Pine Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.